I'm Sarah Rowbottam, and I'm one of the co-founders and curators of Proximity Festival, which is Australia's first one-on-one performance festival. The biannual format has meant that we've been able to separate this 2-week intensive lab that we've been doing just now over the last 2 weeks, 8 months in advance of the actual festival. So everyone's come together for the last 2 weeks and come in with the seed of an idea and really exploded it. Some have thrown it out of the window, some have, allowed them to evolve and really find a place at the end of the 2 weeks where they feel really grounded. And the ideas I've noticed over the last 2 weeks, they feel really solid. They're very solid, considered ideas.
Hello, I am Jeff Khan, the provocateur of the Proximity Lab. Not only is this a festival, but very equally it's an artist laboratory, and it's a national artist laboratory. I think the ideas that come out, not only in terms of the work that the artists make for Proximity, but the way that it fertilizes practice more broadly is super important.
The artists will come back together in 8 months' time and work together for another week and a half before the festival happens, which will be a 2-week season where the artists will perform their works 9 times a day for 10 days.
The stakeholders here at Cathedral Square and the people who run the various spaces that we're working with are just finding out what it is themselves. But I think it's the excitement in that also is hopefully Proximity can embed itself into this burgeoning identity of this space, and there is a real opportunity for it to be taken up by these stakeholders, and the way that these works are going to activate the spaces is so magical and so fantastic and unlikely and engaging and delightful that I think I think it's a really fantastic opportunity for Cathedral Square as well to really define itself as a creative space, as a space to seek kind of cultural experiences, and as a welcoming space to audiences.
What I think is really exciting about that is that every single audience member that comes through the door in Proximity is a new audience member, and they've come in with a whole new history, and things always shift and change depending on who walks through the door, and that is as exciting for an audience as it is for a performer.
My name's Cigdem Aydemir. I'm a Sydney-based artist. I make performance, installation and video artworks. Well, for Proximity, I'm working on creating an imaginary scenario that I invite audiences into and that I take them on a journey with. So it's like a film set, and I invite the audience to be a member of that, a cast in that set. I'm interested in ideas of decolonisation, colonial realities in the present, feminism, queer politics, also aesthetics. I love fabric, I love using fabric, and I love the symbolism of fabric as well. That it has been used for centuries to symbolise certain things in paintings. So I'm attracted to that kind of the paintings of that, of the classical era, but also just thinking about what fabric can do, what the movement of fabric can do in an artwork.
Hi, I'm Tyrone Robinson. I'm a Perth-based contemporary dance artist. I work mainly in the discipline of dance and choreography. I suppose I'm interested in creating a work that connects one life to another. And so by utilising proximity, by utilising eye contact and a sense of vulnerability on my part, hoping that the audience will be able to come in and within that 20 minutes that we have together, create some sort of emotional connection. Keeping that in mind, I'm trying to make the piece as experiential for the audience as possible so that they have constant choice within the work to participate in any way they like, with the almost manipulation of the audience to then have no control over the end or the final outcome. The difference for the proximity lab I found is bringing it back to that one-on-one experience and how suddenly different it is for one person to experience compared to an entire crowd. And so suddenly it becomes a lot more personal, it becomes a lot more directed and important to make sure that one person has some sort of experience.
I'm Hannah Bronte. I'm a visual artist. I'm from Brisbane. I am interested in the Black matriarchy and how we're going to start pulling that in deeper into reality. I'm figuring out how to synthesize or articulate the feeling that weaving with hair and rapping is like weaving with audio. And I'm looking at this mix of things. Yeah. I think it's definitely important because I think that just the way that society is, I think everything's very normalised, is quite like racist and sexist and homophobic and like all the other phobes. But yeah, I just think that the scale of things needs to be flipped on its ass. I think what I'm imagining, I think a lot of people see as dreamscapes or not real, but if you can't even be free or empower in your dreams, how the fuck are you going to do that in reality?
My name is Rachael Dease. I'm a Perth-based artist. I work primarily with sound narrative. I guess we're all working outside of our disciplines in proximity. I don't feel like we're sticking to our usual ways of achieving, and we've been forced out of it. You know, I've been forced to consider movement and texture and all sorts of other kind of things that I wouldn't normally consider. Like, I thought I had a fairly wide view of the world, but I didn't, I don't think. Like, sound-wise I did, but other ways I didn't. So that was great. And it made me think of other ways I could put my ideas into practice outside of my own creative craft. I'm asking an audience member to confront time and mortality. I'm hoping for a connection with strangers without meeting any of them. You know, just this kind of this interaction with others, or this recognition that we're the same. I'd like people to have this kind of urgent joy, like an urgent joy when they leave, because I guess works that have given me that it's made me feel really powerful and hopeful and energized to create, or to be better, to be nicer, or to be more careful with others. And I think that's the thing that threads kind of all of my work, actually, is to be careful with others at the end, but I kind of get to it through different means.